Great. So great to be here. I also saw my colleagues from Israel as well. It's a very exciting time, and I would like to share our story and how it crossed path the sustainability and the carbon offset projects. Uh, as you all mentioned, here there is a huge surge in commitment of governments and corporates for net zero carbon. We see corporates joining voluntary markets for carbon offset projects. We see governments create incentives, and everything leads to capital going into those projects. And we are exciting to be at that time and be part of this process. Um, as we see it, trees are essential part of those initiatives. Trees are a great vehicle for carbon sequestration. Forests and reforestation are great projects to compensate and get a positive on carbon. But there is a challenge. How do we measure those processes? How do we monitor over time? How do we know that we are accurate? How do we do it in scale? All those things are extremely challenging. And of course, in order for us to quantify and make those projects into carbon credits, we need to have an excellent data. Without it, it's very hard to move forward with those projects. So in a sense, data is enabler for those kind of carbon offset projects. Existing methods that are used today in forestry management are relatively slow and quite costly, which makes this process in scale very hard. And therefore, we need to adjust methods, processes, and technology in order to get into scale with those projects. Just a bit about SeeTree. We are based in Tel Aviv. The company is 4 years old today. We have 160 employees. We are serving permanent crops growers all around the world in Brazil, California, South Africa, Europe, Argentina, for many years. Our core technology is all around the paired tree analysis. Our high granularity, high resolution, the ability to assign dollar amount to any symptom that we see is where our story actually cross path with the carbon offset projects market, and also with the player involved. We have today two program tracks. One relates to farming and sustainability in farming. Obviously, in order to manage those programs, you need to have excellent data up to the tree level. And the second one is the carbon sequestration. Our platform includes 4 key components. The first one is based on digitization, which is basically a remote sensing using high resolution aerial imagery. We use that in order to create a digital twin for the land up to the tree level. The second part is the measurements, the ability to measure the trees, different aspects that relates to farming and relates to carbon sequestration. The third part is monitoring, is the ability to monitor over time the status of the land whether it progressed or degraded. And the last thing is optimization, is to get the most out of the covered area. Just as an example of our solution, a farm is separated into blocks. We know how to extract the digital twin of every single tree in those blocks. We can, of course, count the trees. We can categorize the trees into different categories related to health, related to their height, related to different symptoms that we see, and basically create a huge database that is essential for optimizing the process in the farm or in the forest. Today, we basically cover around, I think, 50 million trees already, and we do that over time. Under the hood, we know how to zoom into every single tree, how to extract its geolocation, and obviously analyze everything that we see around that tree. A significant additional part of our solution is the ability to close the loop with in-field verification if needed. So we accompany our solution with a mobile application that allows a person to navigate into specific areas or do scouting or verification processes. Every tree in the database has, we hold different features. This is just an example, but it can have the health score, the canopy volume, the height. We can separate the tree into different categories. It can also be relevant to separating into different species as well. If we take it to the forest, as I said, we build it from the bottom up. So every tree is extracted up to every single tree, up to every level. Every tree has an identification in the digitization step. We then, using our AI processes, we know how to extract different features for the trees that are relevant to carbon sequestration. So it can be height, the volume, estimation of DBH, and then generate from that the estimation for that tree. And obviously, the last part is to group those trees together into digital entities. Once those digital entities are grouped, they can be monitored over time, making sure that there is no catastrophe, no fire, everything is there over time. And also, those entities can be traded later on. And lastly, if someone wants to do a verification, go into a specific area and make sure that it get the right estimation for remote sensing, it can be done, and the mobile application can support it. I'll just say that our motto at the end is, if a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? We in SeeTree believe that we need to make sure that it doesn't fall. Thank you very much.